and welcome to a special edition of the Socializer.
This event was co-hosted by Lenovo with Brand Innovators, who do 100 of these events around the country each year. This is their first event ever in North Carolina, so it gave me great pleasure to be involved in pulling this together, but also bringing brands like Krispy Kreme, quintessential North Carolina brands, into the fold, along with the expected tech brands.
You know, I love being a part of Brand Innovators. I've been emceeing their events now for close to 6 years. And what we have here is a community of marketers who learn from each other, who build relationships, who support each other. And being here for the first time in North Carolina and having a great company like Lenovo sponsor us just really makes it that much better.
We were really psyched to hear that our friends at Lenovo were hosting this event here in the Triangle because there's so many social media professionals actually here. We often connect with them locally. We actually started a local networking group ourselves here. And now to see so many familiar faces in the same room, but then also hear perspectives from other brands that we normally don't get to network with. These type of events mean a lot.
We brought quite a few people in from brands like Red Hat, Cisco, Krispy Kreme, Belk, Citrix, and SAS. Our good friends at SAS are here today, and there are a number of discussions.
Wild cards as well, such as North Carolina Museum of Art,
yes,
which is a fun one to throw into the conversation when you're talking about marketing, right?
Yeah, and the discussion is in some ways all over the place. Our job was going to be to summarize it for you. But Sarah, what have the themes been that have emerged today? What are the topics of choice today?
One of the major themes, for good reason, is authenticity, right? All of us are trying to find that authentic brand voice, that way of connecting with our customer, our consumer, or in some cases when we're talking about employee advocacy, with our own employees, right? And how we, what we're asking of them in terms of being brand advocates.
I think too, 10 years or so into this corporate social media thing, and again, this is a brand marketing event, but social media playing a part. People are a little bit jaded, maybe in a way they weren't 10 years ago, and so the notion of being authentic to an audience on a page, in a digital feed has never been more important than it is now, right? So authenticity, sure. There's been a lot of talk of community, both employees and externally, the way that you interact with your fans, your customers.
I think as a brand who values community, it's been nice to hear that it's still a topic on people's minds and people are still looking for ways to actually not just build communities, but continue to engage them and have them coming back for more from your brand. I would also say trust has come up a lot.
Even transparency. Matt Beretta of Lenovo was talking about our media buying consolidation. And even in that conversation, there was a lot of talk about trust, transparency. We haven't been heavy on the creative content side today. I think we've been really more on a track of community algorithms and the effect on community, the way that brands can still get people's attention. But we did just have a great creative panel from Jed Gant at Myriad Media in Raleigh and Carly Marlowe of the North Carolina Museum of Art. And that was a really cool story about how they went about attracting more people to the museum.
Yeah, and I think that is a good segue into talking about how brands can do social differently and how you can stand out, right? There has been a lot of talk around disruption and how to make your content stand out in a cluttered feed, which is sort of a halo topic that we find ourselves having conversations within all the time.
Groundhog Day for us.
And I'm okay with that because it's an interesting topic and it's one that's always evolving, and it's one that I think, quite frankly, our team is pretty good at. And we've found a good sweet spot for how to create disruptive content or content you wouldn't expect for certain categories or products in our portfolio. So hearing from NCMA in particular about how they're maybe trying some disruptive tactics to drive traffic into the museum was pretty fascinating. I mean, putting flowers in trash cans is not something you hear about every day, but I'd like to try to find our ThinkPad version of that, just like you did for Post Malone on Super Bowl.
Yes, well, what can I say? My Post Malone tweet I'm so proud of. I think the split in conversations between paid social and organic social when it comes to content as well has been really interesting. And I think as we all continue to look for fresh ways to tell compelling stories to people on the organic side, there's also discussion about how to make the most of your dollars on the paid side. And again, Matt Beretta was here talking for Lenovo earlier about paid media, but also Dilip Bhatia was here this morning talking about customer experience, and that was an interesting early part of the day session, looking at not only what it is that you're trying to sell to people, but what is it that they need, and how can you do things for them, right?
Yeah, and I think part of that is just because you've done something a certain way for a while doesn't mean it's the best way to actually do something, right? And I think that is a lot of what Dilip works on all the time, is how to improve the customer experience. It's what Matt is working on in improving the media buying journey and sort of foundation at Lenovo. And so maybe that's a theme for today as well. It's just, do things differently.
Absolutely. We're getting played off like the Grammys, so thanks. Enjoy the rest of this video. Cheers. Event's over. We're back. What just happened?
I don't know. That was a whirlwind, Gavin. It was quite a day.
8 hours of straight up knowledge bombs. There were thoughtsicles. There were learnings. Most of all, there was a lot of good discussion around brand marketing and a lot of tangents of brand marketing. We did a little recap at the end of the day where we opened it up to the room and asked what was going to resonate with people. One of the things having to do with digital transformation that stuck, I think, was the notion of companies reducing friction for their customers. I thought that was like probably the most memorable and simple thing that stuck with me. That's the Socializer for this week. Thanks for being with us. Should we give him the full Isaac?
What is the full Isaac?
That's the full Isaac, the half Isaac, the full Isaac. We're a little loose, it's the end of the day. We're punchy and we're headed to dinner. Thanks for joining us on the Socializer.
Thanks, guys.